All right, let's welcome our next guest to the show, Dr. Keith Black, the Managing Director, Charter Alternative Investments Analyst at CAIA Association. Dr. Black, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So, the importance of education in and around alternative investment space. Help me out, you with that kind of area. I mean, our listeners, they need to be educated in this space.
That's right. And not only is this one of the fastest growing areas of investment, it's also one of the most complex. So alternative investments include private equity and venture capital, hedge funds and managed futures, structured products and credit derivatives, and then the whole area of real assets, including real estate, commodities, infrastructure, farmland, and timberland. And so what we do at the CAIA Association is an educational program to educate investors on each of these topics. We're not saying that all of these investment classes belong in each investor's portfolio, but what we're saying is these are very complex asset classes that require education before we're moving into these areas. There's tremendous asset flows into these areas. It looks like around the world that the average investor has now about 12% of their portfolio in these alternative investments, so this now exceeds $14 trillion of investment worldwide.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your background in academia and finance and how it led you to this particular role with CAIA.
So I've spent about half of my 25-year career in academia, and then half as a trader and consultant to institutional investors. So I was on faculty at the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago, where I taught in a master's in financial markets program. And I was also a commodities trader, an equity derivatives trader, as well as a hedge fund manager research consultant, where we worked with pension funds and endowments in order to make sure they had the highest quality hedge fund managers in their portfolio.
So on our last segment, we were talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency, and how do you see this affecting the marketplace?
We don't think there's institutional interest in this area yet. We work mostly with pensions, endowments, foundations, sovereign wealth, and these large investors have to be very careful with what they do. And so if you're working with a very large investor like Texas Teachers, they're very accountable to their beneficiaries and the pensioners, and they want to be careful with what they invest in. And so far, we're seeing that most of the interest in cryptocurrencies is coming more from individual investors than institutional investors.
Mm-hmm. So, but you have to look towards that future. And as you look towards the future, do you see a play for institutional?
Well, blockchain is very different than Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and there could be substantial efficiency gains by using the blockchain technology to more quickly settle investment transactions. But on the cryptocurrency side, we're going to have to see the volatility of those returns come down and somehow be able to figure out what the intrinsic or long-term value of those cryptocurrencies might be.
Yeah, for the small investor and the guy out there, for the guy trying to raise money, it seems like a pretty nice direction to go if you understand it. And it's a whole new ball game out there. It's Greek to me. I'm learning it, but still, no matter how much I drill down, it gets even more confusing. But let's talk about the important thing. You are with CAIA Association. For the groups out there, what does it mean to earn that? Is it CAIA? Did I say it right?
Right. So
CAIA Charter.
At CAIA, we have two educational programs. One is the CAIA Charter, where you take a 2-level exam series. It's a 1-year, 400-hour program, and only about 60% of the people worldwide pass that exam on any given sitting.
Wow.
And so that's a very competitive expert-level designation. We also have a 20-hour program, which is more accessible. called the Fundamentals of Alternative Investments. And in this 20-hour program, it's designed for everyone to be able to complete the program and to earn foundational knowledge across the areas of alternative investments.
So if I'm looking for an investment direction, do I look for somebody that has that CAIA charter experience, or is that just on the bigger level of institutional funding?
Right. Most of the CAIA members who've been through the expert level program, they would be working for large banks or hedge funds or pension fund managers. But what we're seeing is a tremendous interest in the Fundamentals of Alternative Investment program, which gives continuing education credits for someone who might be a CFP or CPA or IMCA designation holder.
I mean, it makes sense to further that education as you're going down that path.
That's right, and we're seeing a tremendous growth in liquid alternative investments, which means you could buy mutual funds or ETFs that act like alternative investments, and so in a mutual fund format, you can invest in infrastructure or commodities. You can invest in long-short equity or long-short bond funds. And so we're seeing that registered investment advisors are engaging with the Fundamentals program in order to understand this fast-growing area of alternative investments, which has grown to $450 billion, up from less than $100 billion in 2008.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about that and why it's expanding just on the other side of this break. So let us take a moment, and we'll be right back with CEO Money and Dr. Keith Black. All right, welcome back to CEO Money. We're here with Dr. Keith Black, Managing Director of CAIA. Dr. Black, let's talk for just a second. Why did CAIA come about? And what was the need?
Right. So the CAIA Association was founded in 2002, and it a lot of these topics we work with aren't really taught in university. A lot of people don't necessarily have a course on commodities or hedge funds, even in their MBA or their Master's in Finance program. So you would graduate from university, or you graduate from a master's degree program, and you go to work for a bank or a pension fund or a hedge fund, and they say, okay, well, now you've got this degree, but you don't understand our business. And so we saw dozens of these employers hosting internal classes to teach their new employees how this business worked. And so they said it's kind of silly that we're all building these internal classes to teach relatively similar topics. So why don't we get a global standardized program that would teach these alternative investment topics outside of the university program, as well as outside of the investment firms that hire these individuals?
Well, who put that together, and then who funds it?
So it's a global nonprofit organization. It was founded by professors from the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, as well as AIMA, the Alternative Investment Management Association in Europe.
What year did this start?
2002.
Oh, okay. And has it grown? How many members do you have today?
So I'm member number 19, and our first class was just 43 people. But
Wow.
Now we have 9,000 members in 90 countries who've completed our expert level CAIA designation, as well as 4,000 people in the Fundamentals program. And Texas is one of our largest and fastest growing states, and we spend a lot of time between Dallas, Houston, and Austin with our over hundreds of members who are involved in the alternative investments community.
So if someone wants to connect with you, this is a direction they want to go with their career, how do they reach you?
Our website is CAIA.org.
There you have it, Dr. Keith Black, and I'm going to say it right this time, CAIA Association. And if they can reach you at your website, tell me one more time.
CAIA.org.
There you have it. Thank you so much for being part of the show, Dr. Black.
Thank you.